there it goes.
Cool. You got one, Kyle?
There it is, finally.
All right, cool.
Word. All right. Welcome.
What's up,
Got Donnie
man?
Bennet.
What's up, everybody?
Bennet Flooring and Tile.
The one that's been ghost for a while.
Yeah, where you been?
Oh man, it's been a wild. I'd say ever since coming back from coverings, man, it's been pretty crazy for me. Just between things with vehicles going on, and then jobs being pretty slow, and trying to work some things out with a couple contractors, and they've got their ups and downs in their own field. So the contractors that I work with, they're not like large scale guys. They do 20 or less homes a year or whatever. One of them probably only does like maybe 4 homes total because he's doing like high end stuff. Like that big bathroom that I did earlier this year.
That thing was a monster, dude.
Dude, that thing was massive. And I was supposed to do another job for him, and I actually gave him an estimate on it. And so I actually tried to bring this up to Casey and Randy and stuff. And the crazy thing is like I did that big job for him for like $18,500 somewhere in there. And it was the bathroom, and it was a backsplash, a very small backsplash in the kitchen. I did that, and then he asked me to do this other job for him, and it's another shower and bathroom that's like the same exact size. But then there's another shower that he wants to do a wall drain in, just like a standard 3x5 shower. Mm-hmm. And I sent him an estimate for it, and it was just under just over $24,000. And he was like, "Oh, that's too expensive. It's more work. What are you talking about?" But that's kind of what I've been battling over here. Plus, I need to get a new phone. My storage on my phone is completely jacked up.
That's my phone too.
Dude, I know the feeling. Mine's
going so much.
My phone says it's holding more stuff than it can hold.
Yeah.
It says I'm using like 170 out of like 156. So I'm like, how is that possible?
When I go into my phone settings and it shows you like the different categories for your storage, and I don't know if Androids are like this too, but it breaks everything down and it shows the apps that are using like the most stuff. And CapCut is using over half of my storage. And I'm like, oh my God.
Jeez.
I don't want to delete these videos, but
you
never know.
Upload them to a little scan disk or something.
Yeah, I also got to get me one of those little thumb drive things. And use that, but
the Holy Grail. Have a few copies. Be good to go.
I think I'm about to jump ship from Team iPhone. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So my brother-in-law, he's got one of those the Z Fold phones that turns into like a tablet.
Oh yeah.
And you open it up. And it's not massive, like it's nowhere near as big as
but they're pretty freaking nice.
Yeah, and you can get them like iPhones. The biggest iPhone you can get is like 256 gigabytes. Mm-hmm. And that's what we have now, and I'm completely swamped with all the storage. But the Samsung phones, you can get it in like a 500 something gigabyte. And I was like, man, that thing would be perfect. Like I could take pictures of on the job sites of doing estimates and draw on the screen and everything. Like I can't do that with an iPhone. So
I'm surprised. 256, really? I was thinking about upgrading to their maximum. I have a personal and a work phone, and my personal phone is just ready to be upgraded, but I was going to do some switching around and get their highest, but 256.
Yeah, I'm so used to iPhone. I mean, we've always had Apple products for everything, and there was one year we switched to Android, and my wife was like, "This is so dumb. We're not doing this." It's like, all right, we'll go get iPhones. We'll get iPhones, but I'm kind of over it now. I want something that's going to be something that takes good quality photos. And, I've seen the pictures and stuff that some of these Android phones take, and they'll blow you away with how good they are compared to an iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm open. I haven't upgraded in a while. They've been begging for me to do so, but I'm like, up till now, I'm finally maxed out on storage as well. So I don't know. I need to do something in the next month or so. But
that's where they get you to buy a new phone, is because I think they specifically designed the phones to start taking a dump on you after like 2 years.
Yep.
And they're like,
Oh,
hey,
yep.
you can go ahead and upgrade, but we're only going to give you the smallest version of the phone.
They start like changing like the software, you know, they start doing updates that don't work with like the hardware of the phone.
Yeah.
So then it's just like,
Yeah. This is actually my son's tablet here, and he doesn't even update it when it needs to be updated. And I went to go download the Yahoo Fantasy Sports thing on here, and it's like, oh, it needs to be upgraded. So I'm trying to upgrade it, and here it is, just taking its sweet time.
Oh, damn.
So I guess I'm missing out on that draft. It'll automatically draft.
No.
Yeah. So it's only a $20 league. So I'm in a $200 league, and that one is going to be really interesting. I don't know if you guys do fantasy football or stuff like that. But
I've never gotten to do it, no.
Never done
I've
it.
known people that have, but explain it.
I've always done it with
people don't know, I guess.
I've always done it with like my military buddies and stuff, and it was just kind of like a $50 buy-in or whatever, and nobody was really like hardcore into doing it. And then I met these guys here when we moved to Charleston, and I did some work with them. And my buddy was like, hey, man, we do fantasy football. We've been doing it for like 10 years. And he's like, we're legit. I was like, yeah, okay, buddy. So I jump in this league with them. And last year, I played my first year with them. And I think I finished third in the league last year. And then
Nice.
This year, I've kind of like really dialed in on like these players in the NFL. I haven't really cared too much for the NFL, but doing fantasy football and me having to put in $200 for it, I'm winning that money at the end of the year. So I'm going to do my research and everything I can to try to win this thing. So, but it's a fun thing to do. It's nice when you got guys that are competitive and really like engage with it, and everybody's kind of active into it. It's real boring. There was a couple years ago we did one, and it was only like me and two other guys that were really active and trying to like, you got to do trades and waivers and stuff like that for players and things and keep your lineups. So what is going to be beneficial, like the matchups that the players are playing in the games, like all that stuff matters. And most of the people are just like, oh, I'll pick these players and we'll just let it go on autopilot and just do its thing. But
how does the money side work? So like, so you put 200 in.
Yeah.
Are you like, is it everyone in your league puts 200 in?
Yeah. So there's 10 guys. Everybody puts in $200.
Okay.
And then at the end of the year, the winner doesn't get the whole pot. The winner gets like, I don't know what the percentage of what he's broken it down to, but the winner obviously gets the majority of it. And then I think second place gets at least their money back. And then the person who scores the highest points throughout the whole season, I think they get $100 or something like that.
Nice.
So it works out. And you get a cool little fancy trophy at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
But there are some pretty crazy leagues. My brother was in one not too long ago, and he actually got a game-worn jersey that was autographed. The guy's passed away now, unfortunately, but he's got a Denver Broncos Demaryius Thomas jersey. And,
sick.
Yeah, I kept begging because I'm a Broncos fan, and I've been begging. I'm like, dude, let me get that jersey. He's like, I'm never going to give this thing to you. I'm like, dude, you're a Packers fan. Let me get that jersey. But he won it from
Never
fantasy
say never.
football. Yeah. That's a prime piece to have too. I mean, that guy was a really good football player. But
Heck yeah.
yeah.
What kind of how'd you get into tile?
I had a buddy of mine that I grew up with. He's kind of like a brother of mine. And back in like 2016, 2017, I was kind of going through some things with a plant that I was working at. And they ended up letting me go. And he called me up one day. He was like, hey, man, I really need some help down here. I had to move to Augusta, Georgia to go and help him. But he's like, I can pay you, I wasn't making nothing. I was making like $120 a day. Like, it was garbage pay. I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, we started out just doing like laminate floors and stuff like that. We were doing all these jobs for Lowe's. There's a couple like small flooring stores and stuff that we were doing these jobs for. And then one day he's like, hey, man, I need you to do a backsplash. He's like, you know how to do a backsplash? It's like, no, like, I've never done it before. He's like, oh, you just put the stuff on the wall and you put the tile on the wall. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And I did it. And looking at it now, I was like, oh, that's not bad for my first one, But ever since then, like, he had made me his tile guy. And he's like, oh, dude, I need you to do this. And I just got fed up because he was running us like dogs, man. We were working like, we'd stay at some people's houses doing jobs until like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then have to be back at a new job the next day at like 7 a.m.
No.
And I was like, bro, I'm not doing this. Like, you're my homie and stuff, but like, I cannot sit here and be worked like this, man. Like, we're not being productive at all. We're not getting paid much. You know, he's like, well, I'm not making any money. I'm having to pay all you guys. Well, that's your fault. You hired 7 guys.
Oh shit.
And then he would only put like 1 or 2 of us on a job. You know, granted, like most of the time it was like a 600 to 900 square foot flooring job, and me and another guy would knock it out in a day and be good to go. But there have been times where we'd be on a job where we need like 4 guys there, and you know, between us 4, it's like we have a whole house that we're having to redo, rip out all the old shit and put new stuff in. But that's kind of how I got started. I mean, I've always been around like the construction stuff. I remember I was telling my son this the other day that we had a construction class when I was in high school, and they had an automotive class, construction class, like a forestry class. I said my high school was in the middle of the sticks. Like we were the only school in the county that was like way out in the sticks. Everybody else was like in the city. And I remember being in the construction class, and we would do like brick stuff. We would do stone. We'd do some electrical stuff. We actually built one of the dugouts for the softball field with stucco. And I remember I was working with a friend's dad. He had a stucco business in Augusta. And I didn't do stucco with him. I was kind of just like a little bucket boy, just throwing bricks and stuff to these guys or whatever. And when I got to high school and was doing the stucco stuff, I picked it up myself and started doing it. I've never done any kind of mud walls or anything either. And I'm like, man, I have a background doing stucco work, and I was pretty good at it in high school. So I was like, I bet I could probably float some walls.
Oh yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I never looked at tile the way I look at it now. Like I look at it now, it's like it's an art form, you know. And when I was doing it then, it was just doing tile. Like I had no care about what things are symmetrically or anything like that. I didn't care about line. I would just grab a full sheet and cut the edge off and stick it to the wall and run it, you know. And I didn't know any better. But now I look at everything like that, and I'm like, oh no.
I feel like
pushing yourself.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, been doing it since about 2017, and then I got away from it for a little while. I got with a company called Emerson, and they do control valves and like power plants, paper mills, nuclear plants, and stuff like that. Started working with them, traveling all over the place, doing work with them. Actually made really good money traveling, but I got kind of tired of it. So I was like, I want to move to Charleston. Found a job working for Bosch. And when I was at Bosch, it was just a completely different environment. It was worse than the traveling job that I was doing, going to these paper mills and stuff. When I took the gig for Bosch, they were like, hey, we're going to pay you $38 an hour. Your shift is from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then you'll have opportunities to pick up overtime. I'm like, sweet. Monday through Friday, 2 to 10, I'll take it. You know, and I was there, and first weekend, you know, I had my first weekend off. But after that, I was filling in, coming in early for first shift and doing all this extra stuff, man. And I was still new there. I'm still trying to learn the systems and processes of everything. And I think they took advantage of a lot of people that were there. And I was like, man, I told my wife, it's like, do you guys know what Thumbtack is?
No.
It's like Angie's.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar. It's a lead-based ad thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I created a Thumbtack a few years back, and I picked up a $6,000 tile job. I had no idea what I was doing as far as estimating it, but I told the dude $6,000. It was way too much work for me to do by myself. And I took that job, and I had some time off with Bosch, so I took the time off, and then I never went back when my time off was done. And the lady called me. She was like, hey, Bosch is going to let you go because you haven't showed up for work in 2 days. And I'm like, hey, I just made $6,000. It's cool. See you later. Never looked back.
What was the job?
I was kind of like the maintenance guy for the
No,
department.
not Bosch, dude.
Oh.
What was the tile job that you got off?
Oh, it was So ripping out carpet, it's kind of hard to explain it, but it wasn't like full bedrooms or anything. It was a dining room, tile the floor in a dining room, tile the floor in a kitchen. Both of those were pretty significant size. Like this is a big house out on the waterway out here in Charleston. And in the master bedroom, they had like this loft area that was attached to the bedroom that was carpeted. They wanted like this fancy tile. So it was like 12 by 24 tiles, but they also had a mosaic tile that they wanted to add a border and do all these 45s. And I didn't know any of this stuff until after I was already there doing the job. And I did that and an elevator. And I did all that for $6,000. It was easily an elevator. I wish I could pull up some pictures of it right now, but I think it's actually on my Instagram page, some of the pictures of it. I don't think at that time I wasn't making reels and stuff. I was just trying to post pictures to my Instagram. Yep. And I didn't know, I wasn't very fluent with the whole work side of Instagram. Like I was always on Instagram doing the fitness stuff. You know, I was always doing workout videos and things like that. And I kind of knew that there was influencers, but then coming into the tile world, I'm like, oh shit, they do it over here too.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I feel like it's kind of it's nice, but in the same breath, I kind of feel like it's detracting a little bit from the people in the trade. Like the reason I kind of fell away from the whole fitness industry stuff is because you realize how fake these people are. You know, like they come out here and they're like, oh, look at this protein. This is the best protein you can buy on the market. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, yeah, I ditched that company. I'm with this company now.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You know, it's the same concept. What's going on with people now. And so it's just cringy now. It's like, I feel like I'm just the type of person, I'm going to back a product. And it's like, I like the way Andrew does it. You know, Andrew fully backs the products that he uses. He's not out here telling people, oh, use this because it's the best thing on that you can get, you know?
Exactly.
And that's kind of one of the other reasons why I haven't really been on social media. I just haven't really been too engaged with them. It's like, I don't care to see all this stuff no more, man. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with me on the back end and keep things running and moving along for me and my family. So,
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
But
yeah, I've been taking a little break myself for the same reason, dude. So
yeah,
and just like you gotta focus on the business sometimes, and
yeah,
you know,
when
you feel like Instagramming, you will.
Yeah. And I think for me, a part of it was like when I had that big job earlier in the year, I didn't really like go after new jobs to line up afterwards. So it kind of screwed me up. You know, I was still posting and things like that and hoping to try to land something else, but I didn't really know what my time frame was going to be working on that job. That was the biggest job that I've done solo. And I wasn't really certain of like how long exactly it was going to take me. Plus there was a ton of delays with the contractor of trying to get materials, or they weren't ready for me to get over there, or they couldn't get the plumber or whatever it may be. And I just didn't know. So when I got done with that, I had so much downtime and I'm like, oh crap, I really shot myself in the foot here. Like I was good with that project, but now I'm back to square one trying to catch back up again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you do you always work alone, or
so my wife, before she had the baby, she would come to jobs and work with me.
Nice.
She was starting to get in the process of like, she enjoyed actually like laying the tile and stuff. She did like a tub surround with me, and a couple other little small tile jobs, but she would always try to come and just help out and be an extra body to help out doing anything. Like even if doing like an LVP job, there was an LVP job she came with me to, and she was emptying all the boxes and stacking the planks up all over the floor in miscellaneous piles, just so I could keep running the floor. And I mean, that helps tremendously, you know. But outside of that, I don't get no help from nobody. You know, I've done a few things with Harry here and there, because Harry's like 10 minutes down the street from me. But outside of that man's always busy doing his own thing. So it's hard to try to reach out to him. And I don't know about y'all's areas, but there's a lot of Brazilian guys here that are taking a ton of work.
really?
Yeah, there's a ton of Brazilian guys here. A ton of them.
There's
no shade or anything like that towards them. Some of them do really good work. I know a couple of the guys that are doing some of the work, and they do really good stuff. But I'm just like, dude, these guys are taking everything. I can't get on board with nothing.
Oh,
How
man.
do you do most of your advertising? Is it word of mouth or?
So I use Thumbtack, and I'm like one of the top rated on Thumbtack. I think I have like 40 reviews or something like that on Thumbtack.
No.
Nice.
And the only reason I still use it is because I've been using it for 3 years and I have the reviews to back that page, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't post ads on Facebook or anything. I just share the reels or videos and stuff like that, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I do want to start paying to post some ads though. I feel like it'll generate something.
You're in
Yeah, I've
Charleston?
never done that yet.
Yeah.
Do you is there like is there like neighborhood pages for Facebook in Charleston?
Yeah, so they actually have. So I'm on the Nextdoor app too, and the Nextdoor app is nice, but the few people that I've done estimates for off of there, every single one of them are like, "Oh, that's too expensive. I'm going to go with somebody else."
Oh yeah.
That's part of the thing that I've heard the last few months too. Ever since getting back to covering, so many people are like, "Oh, it's too expensive," and then I'm sitting here battling with myself, and I'm like, maybe I should lower my prices.
Are you going to look at the jobs and you're giving them estimates afterwards?
Yeah.
So you're meeting them in person and actually putting eyes on the project and
yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Do you
see,
do you bring in like samples of the materials you use?
I do. So I actually have cut, like, I don't usually have tile samples, but like the
Yeah.
products that I use, like I have a Hydro Block sample, a Guru uncoupling sample. Like I have all these little cutouts of samples, and I show it to the clients like, hey, this is what we'll be using, you know, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a little bit better, I think, at trying to build a better rapport with some of these clients. And that is really based off of the guy that I go fishing with all the time. Like he was with a company that I did some work for, and they went bankrupt, I think earlier this year. And he started his own business, and he's one hell of a salesman, man. Like, this guy tells me every Friday when we go fishing, he's like, man, I just booked another $100,000 job doing a kitchen and doing this and doing that. I'm like, how are you getting all these people, bro? Like, what are you doing? You know, and he kind of helps coach me about like the different strategies and stuff that he's using to kind of talk to these people. And he's like, dude, if you're engaged with these clients more than everybody else, there's a higher percent chance that they're going to go with you because you're fully engaged with that person. You know, so
yeah.
I usually would never check back in with. I mean, I don't say usually would never, because I do check back in with clients, but I'm not a big phone person. Like, I don't pick up the phone and call people. I'm always texting. And he was like, dude, you got to stop texting these people. You got to get on the phone and call these people. I was like, okay. You know, so I started calling people and having conversations, and then kind of going more into detail with some of these things and telling them what I'm offering, and, you know, just be aware of like some of the things that people who do these jobs, they're going to do them for less for you, but are they offering you this? Are they offering you a warranty? Are they, you know, are they explaining how this is done? And, you know, I don't think a lot of these people are doing that.
Yeah.
So just trying to find different routes to take to kind of help myself land projects. So
yeah, I mean, the more information you can feed them about how great your product is going to be, the better, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of my method anyway. I bring all the materials I use. I bring some materials I don't use so I can bash on them. Like, someone else bring this in here. You don't want it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not showing why, you know. I do little demonstrations. But
how long did you say it takes you to do an estimate? Like, just say you're going in there just to do like a normal size 3x5 bathroom.
So the whole bathroom?
Yeah.
I mean, I could go home and do it that night. I like to take a couple of days though, just to really think.
I mean, like, how do you go about it when you're like if you meet at the client's house and you're kind of going over everything with them? Like, how long do you expect yourself to usually be there? Kind of going over everything at the client's house.
Typically 30 minutes to the longest I think I've been is like an hour and a half.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
About that. Just depends on, you know, how involved the project is.
Well, some homeowners want you because you're the professional to take care of it, and they just want a number and agree on everything and good to go. And then there's some that, you know, have every question, and they rightfully should, you know. But
Yeah.
those are the ones that take a little bit longer, naturally, because you're coaching them through everything. But then I've met others, like I said, that are like, oh man, okay, you just want a great finished product, and we're all good to go.
Yeah.
So,
And how many times? I mean, that happens more times than not, right? Like you get a client, they're like, "Well, you're the expert. You tell me."
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
will say, try to get some GCs. I finally I met some. They reached out to me, so that's kind of where I'm hoping to be evolving to where they're going to kind of have some work moving down the road, and I'll just kind of fill a void, helping them with their tile work. So it'll be kind of help me help you kind of thing. And I think I got 4 right now. So theoretically, if I can get in rotation with them all, it can make things a lot more easier to where I'm not having to go, and meet people. And, it just takes out one less thing. So that's kind of where I want to shift. Say that again.
How many guys do you have with you?
Me, I'm just by myself.
Just by yourself? Kyle, you got a buddy
right
that helps
now,
you sometimes?
My brother, my lady. And then I got a couple other guys I can call on here and there, but it's mainly just the 3 of us.
Would you guys say you'd rather have it that way, where it's just you?
I mean, it depends.
So I definitely like working for myself, you know what I mean, and doing it all by myself. But I think I'm at the point too where it'd be nice to at least have kind of like later down the road, maybe next year, get a helper to where mixing mud, and just helping me move things more efficiently so that I'm not having to stop and go. That's, as I'm older, it's like, okay, I'm just losing a little bit of efficiency by doing so, and some of these my paint stays creamy for a while. So does Kiesel. Obviously, I just need to get a palette, and I haven't done it yet. But there's other ones here like Ardex. It don't mix up so quick. You could pre-whip it, but there's only so many times, and then it's trash, So you just make smaller batches, which means you're going a lot more, and I don't know. So
Did you get some
I'm
Prolite?
used to the small batches. Prolite?
Prolite.
I like Prolite. I do have some over here somewhere.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually like it. A lot of people talk smack about it, but I just feel like the consistency of it is really, really nice. And then inside the bucket, the funny thing is I let this GC. So this bathroom that I just finished up, and this brick floor that I did, he's doing the other master bathroom in this house, and I was like, hey man, I'm not using my my bucket saver. If you want to use it, go for it. I was like, just make sure you wipe it out when you're done, and then just let the stuff sit in there overnight. First of all, he never wiped it out. I was like, what the heck, dude? It didn't get wiped out. So, but I don't remember where I was going with that.
I got
the whole bucket
I use those bucket savers too. I got bucket savers for my water, and then I got beast mixers for my mixing. And I don't know, I actually love it. It's finally to a point where it's efficient, and I'm not burning through buckets anymore. So I don't know. I definitely wish I had gotten these a lot sooner. But that's something.
Yeah, I remember what he told me. He told me the other day. He was like, mixing the mud with the bucket saver versus putting it in a bucket. He was like, it stays so much creamier inside the bucket saver than it does inside the regular bucket. Yeah.
Use a good bucket scoop. That brand new one from QEP is sick. So it just gets the corners perfect. So I mean, you can still scoop it right out, and I love it. The only thing I don't love is
curved.
So the beast mixer has the curve that cusp over, and then the bucket savers have a flat top. So I use the yellow bucket savers for one for my mixer water, another one to wash up upstairs, and then just a clean water bucket. And then I got the 2 great beast mixers that actually, every other, so I can make a puck in one night, come back the next day, flip it out, and use the other one, and just kind of rotate between the 2. I love it. It's definitely changed. Because I used to burn through buckets, and I mean, it just kind of consciously eats at you too, because you're just like, man, I'm just feeding the world buckets because I can't recycle these anymore. But no, totally awesome. I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good investment to have. I've been trying to tell a lot of even buddies that I have back home that I started working with down in Augusta, Georgia. I tell them all the time, like, dude, if you guys are doing tile work, you need to get one of these. It's going to save you some money for sure. And I know some people are like, oh, they're so expensive. And I'm like, yeah, dude, but you realize you're not going to have to buy buckets.
it just, I don't know. It's just clean. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm like, no, it's paying for itself off. It's one of those investments that's going to last. So that's good. Definitely glad I did it. Floor & Decor started stocking some kind of gold blot ones. I haven't
like
tried that yet.
$75.
I was just in there yesterday.
Yep.
I mean, it's almost the same price as what the bucket saver goes for, but I mean, it would you get it that day. So I don't know if the quality is the same or I don't know. They're made out of two different materials.
I actually had a bucket saver rip on me.
See, I haven't had that yet.
Mine kind of wore out. I've had mine for like a little over a year. I don't use them anymore because I just beat the shit out of them. But yeah, mine got some holes in them at the top from like pulling them out, mainly trying to pull them out of the bucket the next day, and just like vacuumed in there.
Yeah,
just gripping it, kind of ripping
tearing it. Yeah,
tearing the top. Yeah.
I was doing a tile job, I think last year. The bucket saver that I have now is the second one, and it's been pretty good. But the first one that I had a guy that was doing a tile job with me, and he was using the bucket saver, and the mixing paddle he was using was like it's not a egg beater type. Like the egg beater one is the one you're supposed to use with those liners because it doesn't eat them up. But he was using the other one that's like the two wings on the side that spin, like the drywall one.
Yeah.
Drywall one. And that thing shredded that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely get I've shredded some container recently with a lot of leveler in it, like 3 bags. Plus a hole in the bottom of this container because I didn't bring the right mixer, and I was just like, fuck it, dude, let's just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure enough, they put a hole right in the bottom.
Would you say Neil said?
Oh, Neil also agreed, but he said the bucket saver quality is not as good as Beast Mixer. Which, I don't know. I prefer the
I don't know. I've never tried the other one.
He also said you beat your kids. So.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Only on Friday afternoons when they get out of school.
God dang it.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to come out to coverings next year? Is that the goal?
I'm planning for it for sure.
Cool.
I contemplated afterwards, like with everything that's been going on the last few months, it's just, I feel like I've been to a point right now where it's like everything was going so good. And then like now it's just like one thing after another. And that's life, like it just keeps hitting and keeps hitting. And I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to go to coverings next year. I don't know if I'm feeling it, but I definitely want to go because Atlanta was nice, but it was nothing compared to the way Orlando was. Orlando was just so fun, man.
Hell yeah.
Granted, we did have an Airbnb with like 12 guys in there, so it was pretty nice.
That's sick.
I mean, I didn't think we were going to actually make it happen, but and then we tried to get something like that to work last year, but everybody this past year they wanted to kind of do their own thing, which is fine, but that first year that we went, I think it was me, Omar, Jeremiah, Harry, JC Tile, I can't remember the other guy's name. He's up in New York too. JD Concepts, that's something like that. Dimitri. I mean, dude, we had so many people in there. It's ridiculous. Goat Tile is there. Like we had so many guys in there.
That's sick.
But it was a good time.
Baller.
And Jordan. I forgot Jordan was there too from One Contract Flooring.
I'll be taking my kids next year. We're going to go for at least definitely a day, maybe 2 days. And then they've talked me into going to Disney World while we're over there. So I was like, all right, we'll miss a week.
Is it Universal out
there? Both of them. Yeah. So we took them to Universal like a couple of years ago. My mom treated us, and I will say the rides they still have some kid rides, but it was more Disney obviously is more their age right now. Universal's sick for us as adults and like getting into like coasters and stuff, and I don't know, the Transformer stuff. It just brings me back to being a kid. So I'm just like, oh man, I love it. But I think they'll be there soon.
I was listening to a podcast the other day with Rogan. I forgot who he was talking to, and they mentioned something about going to Universal, and they were like, "Dude, it's the coolest place for adults." I want to go.
Oh, I was geeking out, dude. They had a Fast and the Furious ride. They had it all. I was just like, yeah, this is my best day ever. Rode the ET ride like twice. I was like, oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But now my oldest, she's like absolutely in love with these roller coasters. So I'm like, I don't know. The last one we just did over downtown, it's called Elitch Gardens, and I'm looking over as we're going up, and she's so small you can't even see her in the seat. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna lose her. She's gonna like launch out. But as we're going down, she's just like geeking out and just like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I want to ride it again already. And I'm just, what the hell? Like we created a monster over here.
Yeah.
So
dude, it's so
did you
cool
ride
if
the
the
Mummy,
kids wanna do
Rob?
it. The Mummy?
what?
Yeah. Did you ride the Mummy?
I don't think I did.
Welch Ceramic Tile said it's the best ride.
God damn it!
I've never
I heard
did.
the Harry Potter ride was the best.
Oh no, I guess we're gonna have to do a
A
vote.
big group gathering there, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody
It
will
was
get
like
on scooters and ride
111
over
last time I
there.
was over there.
I'm down
Died
to
in
go
the
to
heat.
Orlando,
Yeah.
or Universal Studios.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I've
saying.
always wanted to go.
I mean, yeah, you can do coverings in a day, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a couple
Yeah,
days.
the first 2
3.5
days
is-
at coverings is probably like the best, and then after that, it's kind of just like you're just moping around, really.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Like,
like on stocking
damn,
up
my
on like tools.
Ankles
I will
hurt.
say the
Yeah.
last day, man, you can get those killer deals, and I'm like, I'm always so jealous because I've been flying, and I'm like, one of these times I got to drive out and just load
Yeah.
up with some stuff I need and be good to go.
Yeah, I did get a bunch of blades and a big cone and like a medium-sized cone for so cheap, dude. So cheap.
Oh, didn't you post about that cone you got the other day?
Yeah, I showed it on my story. That was the first time I used it.
Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Works good. I got no complaints.
That's where everybody else is getting it from.
Still got your eyes. We're all good. We're all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit jealous of, because I didn't know the first year that they did that. So like we were there the last day, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're getting rid of all this stuff at like discount prices," and I was like, "Yo, what?" You know, so
No.
that this year it was great because we brought the car and stuff, but man, we were packed to the brim inside of this little Toyota Camry.
What'd you get?
Man, I got so much stuff. I'll tell you one thing that I do like Pagrin stuff. I really do like Pagrin stuff. I like the grout float. I like
I love their grout
wedges.
float.
But boy, their bucket, I do not like it.
Their
I just
bucket.
don't. Yeah, like the grout bucket.
Oh.
Let me show you. I have one. I have it right here. So you have the ruby one, right?
That's what I got too.
I have the
I have-
Ruby and the Raymundi.
So I like the
you
ruby
got the
one.
one in coverage, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been
So the
using the
only-
Raymundi. The Ruby hasn't seen a job since coverage. The Raymundi is. It's got 3 rollers. It just cleans.
This top roller fell off,
Oh shit.
right? So the only thing that I don't like about this is even when you run it through there and it like I thought it was a great concept because it's squeezing the sponge, you know. But
Mhm.
when you put it through there, I feel like it just tears the sponge up because there's so much pressure trying to compress it. And then when I use the Ruby one, it's just like you put your own pressure on it, you know. And
Right.
I didn't like the Pagrin bucket when I used it. I was just like, man, this is so much of a head. And then trying to finesse it just to get it to go through that slot, you know, it's like, man, the Ruby one, I just put it right on top of the rollers and roll it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got a ton of Pagrin stuff back here. I haven't even had a chance to use all of it. I mean, they sent me home with like 6 bags of different size clips and wedges and corners and all kinds of
I got
stuff.
so much Pagrin shit, and they keep going, "Have you used it yet?" I'm like, "No, dude. I do a lot of small tile." Like,
When they actually, have you heard from their rep at all recently?
which one? Yeah, he's
I think
always
his name is Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
He's always emailing me like, "You got an update on the clips?" I'm like, "No, dude. All the tiles I do are small."
Yeah. So he messaged me the other day and was like, "Hey man, we're doing a buyback program right now to where if you got, you know, miscellaneous wedges from other brands and stuff like that, if you send them to us, you purchase the amount of wedges that you need that they're replacing, and then they'll give you that same amount free to replace the ones that you're trading in. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I got a whole container full of miscellaneous ones off of Amazon and stuff, and like that's probably like 3,000 wedges up there. So it's like
I got a massive box upstairs of Ruby and Ramonde, and then
I think that's something cool for those companies to do. Like,
definitely, and I'm not gonna get rid of them because I'm like, man, they're still in great condition. I use the Caladad ones now because I love that too, so that's what I've been doing. But I mean, I'm keeping them there in case anybody needed them, or if I'm doing a huge job, I've got backups. So
yeah. Now, QEP sent me the spin tops, and I've never used spin tops, and I haven't even had a chance to use them. I just haven't had a chance to use them.
Surface, was it Ruby gave me like a handful of each, so I'm like, okay, not enough to do a job by any means, but it's like, okay, it's still. I've been told for like the 4x8 sheets, like the European standard, you need to use these spin to actually get more surface versus the wedges. So I mean, I'm like, okay, it's cool that they have a standard that they hold themselves a little bit higher than what we are supposedly, but it's still cool. So I'll have to invest in some of those because I'm hoping down the road that's where my jobs will eventually go, or to these larger tiles. So it's I like less grout.
Is there a specific one that you like using more than the others? As far as clips
for which one? Oh, so lately I've been doing the Caladad ones, and I love them. Yeah. They work great.
Yeah.
And the way that they market them,
like the quality of the wedge.
So they give them to you for free, right? So like if you buy like $100 worth, you're getting 4 bags, and then they'll give you 500 wedges for free. So I mean, they work good. They're not going to last forever, but if they're giving them to you for free, it's worth it, because the clip bases are still at a better price, and I like them because you get a little bit more torque to them versus like Ramonde has some really heavy duty ones that they'll eventually just snap off real easy if you crack it. This one, like they go back a little bit, so if you're overdoing it before it actually clicks, or comes out. So I like them. And just this one right now, because I'm on the 2 foot by 4 foot, Ruby has these new little protective bottom bases for the Delta, or they work for the Cyclone. So I got 100 count of those, and I've been using those. So I'll set up, Caladad base, put one of the Ruby protectors, and then I'll run the Caladad wedge, and it's been great. I'm going to start doing that, obviously, for stone jobs and things like that, so you don't have any etching. But for this, it just creates a little bit more surface, and it's been working great. So.
Have you tried the Perfect Level Master ones?
No. I want to, though.
They're pretty good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I like how durable the clip itself and the wedge, like they're pretty strong. But I had purchased some on Black Friday a few years ago on Amazon, and I got it for dirt cheap, like it was wedges and clips, and it was like 5,000 clips or something like that. And I'm like, shit, I'm getting it, The clips are pretty good, but they will snap on you if you crank too much. But the wedges, dude, they're so bad. Like when you go to break them off afterwards, half of the wedge breaks in half because it's just like cheap plastic.
I've had every brand break on me if you crank them too much,
Well, I didn't have that with the Pagrin ones. The Pagrin ones, I literally took the thing and cranked these things all the way down to the very end of it, and it did not snap.
Really? I haven't tried them. But I've heard people complain about the Pagrin ones, say they got too much flex in them, like what you're saying. You crank it, and they got too much flex in them, and sometimes they don't actually level, or I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing that I don't like about them is like on the, like most of your clips are like the same on the sides where actually the tile cuts into it right there. Like it's just a skinny little piece right there, right? Well, the Pagrin ones, depending on what size you have, like it's flat like that on one side, and then it has like a notch out for whatever the spacing is on the other side. So my OCD is like they have to all go the same way. Like I can't put a clip in there with the spacing piece on the bottom and then put the next one with the spacing piece on top.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't matter, but it's just my OCD. But that's one of the things that I don't like about it, because it kind of makes it look like sometimes when you're putting the wedge in there that it's not, the tile's not actually like connected with the wedge in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the ones I've had, and I've seen when I was project managing and things, where if you over click them, or it has the capability of over clicking. If you're not careful enough, your tile will actually start to lift, and that's maybe what people were saying. So that naturally, like, if you don't catch that quick enough and you like allow some transition, like what I would do is have all my bases under there, lay like 3 rows, depending on how big the room is, and then I'd go and click everything so that naturally everything bonded the way it needed to. Versus all of a sudden you're starting to lift things, and it doesn't work that way, obviously. And depending on how big of a floor it's gonna start to it's gonna fail. That's one downside if you over click these level systems, but they work if you do them properly, man, they're great.
I'll say the Pegrin ones though, like if you crank them suckers all the way down and you're like, oh crap, I need to take it back out. And as soon as you go to try to flip that thing back over, it'll snap. It'll break right off of there. And the other thing that I didn't like about the Pegrin ones is when you go to break them off, for the most part, they would break off clean. But there were so many times, like one arm would break off and the other one would just be kind of just like hanging there. And it's so hard to just like pull it off. So you have to get pliers to kind of pull it off of there or whatever. But
hot razor.
Huh?
A hot razor blade.
There you go. That'll cut right through it.
A lighter on a hot razor or whatever.
I haven't done that one yet. Good thinking. Good thinking.
You're over there with a lighter. You're like, shh. You're like, what are you doing over there, Kyle? Don't worry about me. See the smoke coming up.
God damn it.
You got a pipe over there?
My house is on fire.
It works.
Yeah.
No, that's actually genius. That's actually really genius.
Like butter.
And fucking eat your blades otherwise, depending on how many you're doing, depending on the size floor.
You risk chipping.
Not everyone is ever
sitting there digging.
That's where the heavy duty bases work great, but I mean, I've never had a problem with the other ones. They've treated me well, so gonna rock and roll with them.
If you're in a pinch, Amazon can get it done, but outside of that, I wouldn't trust them.
Just random Chinese clips.
Yeah.
That's actually what I got started with like 4 years ago. Was somebody that was the first system was off Amazon, and I bought like 400 wedges, and I was told by the guy that was my manager at the time, like, start with that. When you get past 400, you need to buy more, and I think I had like 2,000 because depending on how quick things worked and all the size, all the tile and everything, it evolved from the Amazon though to the Ruby, and I loved the Ruby forever, and then naturally floor and decor seemed to almost phase it out, it seemed like, for a moment, and all they had is Ramonde, so I was like, okay, naturally things started getting replaced with that. So there's,
I do like the Ramonde ones too though.
They were great. I mean, like I said, heavy duty ones are good.
Yeah.
Raimondi's just like that old solid Italian company. Everything they make is just like so well thought out, I feel like.
Yeah.
So fucking expensive that start looking at their tools. It's like, that
little thing they have to, that thing they have to go down the whole little clip bases so you don't have to hit them out. It just rolls. Man, I should have picked that thing up, but I was flying. I just ran out of bag room, and that was the one tool I wish I had gotten the coverings.
What do you use to store your wedges and stuff in? Do you have like a big bin that you just throw them all in?
I just use those black bins from Home Depot.
Oh, the black ones with the yellow tops?
Yeah, they're cheap.
Yeah, oh yeah. Sure, you could get them suckers at Sam's Club for like $7.
Yeah, I buy like the $7 one at Home Depot, and I just got a few of them. They're just under my deck, full of wedges.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I use 5-gallon buckets. I've got 5 of the white ones.
That's not big enough.
Oh no, I got 5 white ones which are full wedges, and then I've got one just a 5-gallon bucket that I put all the bases in that I pour them into. But they each have those like they're rated for like food and stuff to where you can like screw them on and off. So I love them. They're good for the snow over here, and depending on how big of a floor I'm doing, I can bring all 5 out if I need them. Otherwise, it's just bring a couple what I need. And I will say, doing these larger panels, I'm doing both 2 foot by 4 foot, and I'm using a hell of a lot less bases and wedges. I'm just like, this is a lot nicer. I haven't gotten to do a hour with those large formats yet, so I'm hoping from now on I can convince homeowners.
Yeah, Yeah. Well, I just did. I'm supposed to be starting a job next week for this lady redoing the whole bathroom, and the tile she showed me originally that she wants to do on all the walls was a 24 by 48, and I was like, you do know that's a big tile, right? She's like, well, no, I didn't know that, and I'm like, yeah, that's a 2 foot by 4 foot tile. She's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go that big, and I'm like, no, let's do that
Yeah.
big.
The way I pitch it is it's going to have you a hell of a lot easier to clean your shower. It's going to have less grout line for anything to ever fail.
Yeah.
And it just looks so much cleaner. Oh,
Yeah.
plus you
You
can
charge
miter
more?
everything out.
For a larger
For
tile,
the
for sure, yeah.
For large format?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't on
And
this
it's
one.
kind
I just
of
not.
it is kind of weird too, though, because you're always going to have these people that are going to go, oh, well, it's just a little bitty tile. Oh, it's just a little bitty area. Why does it cost that much?
Yeah.
But the process is still the same. The process.
When I
is the
start
same.
doing
You're
full
just working on
slabs, like
something
full
smaller.
walls of porcelain tile, that's when I'm definitely going to upcharge for that because that is a whole different setup right there.
Oh yeah.
And this one, even, I mean, I'm using my Tyler cutter for the most part, and it's working good. I've had a couple times where it just didn't etch properly and it didn't break, which I needed it to. So that's the bummer part. Otherwise, I've been cutting a lot with my grinder because 48 inches, I can't. My what is it? My wet saw max out at 36 by 36. So it's been a different experience for me on this one because I'm just so used to my wet saw, and I'm just so not having those as an option. It changes everything. And
how high is the lip on your wet saw? 1/2 inch?
which lip are we talking about?
Like the
On the tray.
from the table.
From the end of the tray.
Yeah, probably about 1/2 inch. It just butts up to it. So yeah.
Man, I was cutting like 5 foot long pieces of engineered stone on my DeWalt 36 the other day, and I just lay a piece of 1/2 inch backer board on it, so now it's just like
flush all the way
transition.
top.
Yeah, and then I can just lay this longer piece on it, and you got to work it more. You got to go through, then back it up and push it, get it, and then
that's actually pretty smart, brother.
But I mean,
I'm gonna have to try.
It works. It works and it's clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a new extension table that showed off the coverings. I don't know if it's out yet, so that's where I don't know. I love the Ruby one, but I'm not in love with it though. I still want the DeWalt one. I want the 36, which eventually I'll go.
I was on like Tile Geeks or something the other day on Facebook, and someone said that the Ruby and the Rigid Beast is like the same saw.
I would agree. Probably they're like $100 difference. I bought mine for
I still have the same saw I had when I first started.
What do you use?
I have a little cheap old Cobalt saw.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it gets job
Dude,
done.
I ran the rigid 7-inch forever. I had 2 of those and I loved it. And then the last one just burnt out like within like a year. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to invest in another one. And that's when I decided I'd just get the bigger one, which now I'm kicking myself in the ass always because I'm like, I should have just got the DeWalt because now that's what I want. And it seems to operate better and it's got more tricks in it and I love it. So I'm like, the Ruby.
Do you ever see the other brands that they have at Floor & Decor with the wet saws? It's like a blue color, like Cruiser or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you know anything about those?
Looks dope.
No, I don't.
I mean, it looks cool.
I've seen mixed reviews on it. I mean, I looked into it pretty hard because when someone stole my DeWalt 24 a little over a year ago, and I'm getting another one because I love that saw. The 36 is so big and heavy, and Rob, since you have a Ruby 36, I would get the DeWalt 24 if I were you. Well, unless you're just planning on doing a lot of really big tile all the time. I don't know. But God, it's so fucking heavy, dude. It's like 93 pounds or something.
This one is too. I mean, it fits because I only got a little Nissan Frontier, so I put that saw in and it fits in perfect. But I can't haul anything else with me. So I gotta do a tool run and then I gotta bring the saw. So it's a process. So I don't know.
I hardly ever bring my wet saw anywhere anymore. I usually just use the grinder or my snapper, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I had a guy a few years ago who was working on a project he had. He had some 24 by 48s, and I didn't bring a wet saw. and he was bashing me so bad. He's like, "Oh, you're not a real tile guy. You're not even using a wet saw." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, dude? Like, I don't have to use a tile saw."
More than one way to skin a cat, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, sure, if you like didn't have all these fancy tools like the polishing pads and like all these different things that they have, you can just do so much more. You're not restricted to only having the wet saw, which I like the wet saw because it still gives me a nice clean cut when I need to. It's just damn, that's why I'm finding my limitations on the tile, you know. So it's like okay, but I use
If you're
the
gonna be somewhere for a while, having your wet saw set up is gonna be nice. But if you're going to a job and you're only gonna be there for like 2 or 3 days, like putting the wet saw up, putting the wet saw up and taking it back down and cleaning it, it's such a hassle.
Yeah, no, for sure. I try to get away with the snapper as much as I can these days.
Yeah.
What are you using, Donnie, on your snappers?
I got the Tyler one right now. I think it's the 27 or 26-inch one that I use pretty much for everything. I have like a little small cheap one that I got at Lowe's a couple years ago, and it actually cuts really good for like small subways and stuff. It cuts really clean still. I put a new blade on it, still cuts pretty good, but I haven't really gotten to try out the like I think it's like a 60-inch or 58-inch Tyler cutter. I haven't really gotten to try it out yet because I haven't had a job for it.
One?
Yeah.
Dude, it's got like
I don't have the one that has the like the springs in it. I don't have that one.
Okay.
It's but just the one that's just like the straight bar.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. But it's got the little wing arms that come out so they support the tile.
Yeah.
Got the pad, the foam pad.
Yeah. That thing's heavy, son.
That's why I've been doing a lot of my jobs with is like a 21-inch QEP from Home Depot from like 5 years ago. It's a cheap cutter, but it's just been killing it lately.
Shoot, go and grab that one from Harbor Freight for like $20.
Dude, who knows? Who knows?
It looks just like the QEP.
Have you gotten to use an IQ yet?
I haven't. Nope.
I haven't either.
I haven't even seen it. I mean, granted, I know there's only like probably some like stores that actually carry it, but I haven't seen or heard of anybody, at least in my area, that even uses one. I
haven't either. I know the tile shop carries them, and then Louisville Tile here carries them.
We got a tile shop here. I think they just recently closed it down.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, the only
thing that we really have here is like we have a couple like local tile stores, but Floor and Decor, and like that's about it.
The tile shop, I feel like they try to act like they're like a pro shop, but they're really just a consumer shop. Like
they're gonna start carrying.
They just don't ever have a lot of shit in stock. You know, they'll try like you'll come in and they'll like try to sell you on like being like a weedy guy. And be like, all right, well, let me get enough to build a shower, and they'll be like, oh, we only got 4 boards in stock, and it's like, fucking idiots.
Yeah.
At least the one in Nashville. I don't know about all of them.
Well, that's like the whole Hydroblock thing with Dow Tile too. You know, it's like we have a Dow Tile here, and I went up there and I'm like, hey, you guys carry Hydroblock, right? And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't even. I called every Hydroblock or every Dow Tile, like in Tennessee and the surrounding states. None of them, dude. None of them.
Well, according to Jeremy, though, they do, a lot of them, they probably don't know it, but they do carry it in their system. They just have to order everything.
Yeah. They don't stock it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing that I didn't like. I got there, and I'm like, there's no Hydroblock stuff here. Like, what?
I'm going to go to a Dow Tile this week to pick up some tile for an upcoming floor project, but I'm going to be I was hoping to see it there, so now you got me worried. I'm going to be picking their brains. See if you guys can, if they don't stock it, if they can get it, because I haven't gotten to work with it yet. I want to.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I want to work with. I want to try Schluter. I haven't personally gotten to do that yet, so I want to try that too. So it'll be good. I got a list of what I want to give a try to. But
I had a client the other day. They had a house fire and they're getting their bathroom. They didn't pick me. I called them today to check in with them and see if he had any questions or anything. And he's like, "Yeah, we went with somebody else, man." I was like, Oh, okay, cool. But when I was over there, he's like, yeah, we got this foam bench from this orange company that we're going to put in. He's like, is that thing durable enough? Like, what if somebody falls? He's like, it's made out of foam. It's not going to like fall into pieces or anything.
You're gonna
I
hit
said,
the
dude,
tile before you hit the foam.
I was like, dude, that thing's not going nowhere. Once you put tile around that thing,
Yeah.
that sucker's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
You better drop a couple bowling balls in there from on top of the roof or something, but that ain't going nowhere.
Well, and that's why I like the little kit I've got, like you. You know, when you go out for a sale, you've got little samples you can show them. So it's, you know, because when they hear foam, they're like, "Oh no, I don't want that." And it's like, no, it's not what you're thinking. It's not what, like, you know, the little peanuts or like any of it. It's a different. It's like it's a high density foam. It's engineered to not have problems. And it's I just keep the way I pitch it is, why would we want to be exposed to silicates like in concrete board if we have alternatives? And it just makes labor a little bit more, you know, naturally efficient. So either it's easier on our bodies, obviously, and in return, depending on what you're charging, you're either making more money or they're cutting a break, you know, find a nice median. So it's, I don't know. I like working with the lighter materials now that I've switched over.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, granted, you could possibly, you know, budget it and win a bid with somebody by using, you know, the cheapest materials you can get, which people do it, you know, but
well, I've had homeowners that
don't prefer.
Yeah, I've
had
do
a good job at Duroc. It's just more work.
Yeah,
and that's what I tell them. If we're gonna save money, you know, the price for Go Board isn't bad. It's like $27 a sheet. So compared to what Weedy cost, it's like half the price. But it's still, you know, twice as much as Duroc. But I tell them, you know, naturally with the sealant and the washers and everything with the Go Board, you're not having to go in the next day and actually put paint on a waterproof membrane and all these different steps that concrete board are requiring. So you're going to end up paying for it one way or the other, and you might as well get a better product, something like that. But then the ones
I think Lowe's might be getting rid of Go Board.
No way, really?
I think they might be. And the only reason I say is because
just a test run. But they only had it for what, 9 months?
Yeah,
well, the Pro's going to be coming out soon. The Pro's supposed to be less itchy, so it's possible they're going to make some room for that, and then naturally it's just going to it's going to cost more because it's Pro model. But
that makes sense.
It's less itchy. It's Pro. Stop selling the shitty stuff. Only sell the good stuff.
I've got used to it.
So I never got a reaction from it. I'm like, I don't know. I lucked out. It didn't bother me.
You go and lean up against one of the walls when you're in there. Your whole arm is going to be itchy as hell.
No, man. I did one shower with it.
No, it hasn't bugged me none.
Yeah. But no, this GC, I'm supposed to be doing another shower for him in a few weeks. Nice. And he's like, oh, I already got all the Go Board and stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, I got the Go Board for like $20 a sheet. I was like, how the heck did you do that? And he's like, it's on clearance. It's like, what? What did he put it on clearance for? Yeah, well.
Shit.
So maybe they are getting rid of it and bringing in the new stuff. Who knows? But
I might just pick some up if they make it cheap enough. You know, 15
bucks
a board. All right, I'll use it.
Kyle had to feed my rigid addiction today and tell me Home Depot had the 2 drawers for 50% off, so it was $49. And I'm like, fuck! I was looking at them already last night. I was like, I just started itching. I was like, I gotta get over there. So in between the 2 projects, for my lunch, ran over there, picked mine up, and now I created a monster. But it looks so good. I'm just so happy.
I went and got 3 of them. Shit, I need some better organization.
I was like, this is such a good
almost like me, Kyle. I got tool stuff everywhere. And granted, this has turned into my wife's sanctuary for working out. And she's like, you need to get your work stuff put away and do this. And I'm like, I have too much of it. Like, there's so much stuff all over the place.
Dude,
work stuff.
Take you a tour on my junkyard of a property. We can start in my house. We'll move to the carport. Then we'll come in here and look at some shit. Then we'll go back in the barn. Oh, we got to hit the deck, too. I'm sure there's some drills and shit laying out there.
And then buckets of wedges underneath the deck. And
oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't forget I built a little thing over here. There's some shit over there, too. Air compressors. And
Oh, that's
Wild.
awesome.
Like,
like
Well,
a-
brother, this has
like
been
a pawn
good.
shop here, dude.
yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
What
I
so what do you got
appreciate you
planned
guys
tomorrow?
letting me get on here. So tomorrow, actually, it's a crazy story. Is I actually had this client reach back out to me. I went and started a bathroom tile job for her. It's just doing the floors, and I started this probably 2 months ago. Ripped the whole floor out and everything. She's like, "Yeah, the tile is supposed to be here." I think I started on a Tuesday, and she's like, "The tile is going to be here on Wednesday." So at this time, they were having like a lot of flooding and stuff, and she got the tile from Happy Floors, and
Okay.
I guess like their main distribution is down in Miami. So she's like, "Hey, the tile place said that they're not gonna," and I had already demoed the whole floor. Her toilet's still out and everything. Like the place can't use anything in there, and it's been like 2 months like that. And she ended up going to go stay with a family member or something. She said, and I was like, "Hey, if you want me to come back over there and put your toilet in and all these other things," she's like, "I don't mind coming over here and do that. That way you can still use it and stuff." And she's like, "No, don't worry about it." I was like, "All right." She texted me today and was like, "Hey, did you forget about me?" Like, no, I didn't forget about you. Just I've been waiting to hear back from you if you got your tile in or not, you know. And she's like, "Yeah, it's here." Like, all right, I'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I did have a miscellaneous job. Like I had a guy, my barber, he sent a guy to me and he's like, "Hey man, he's got a rental property and he's got a bunch of different miscellaneous things. Like he wanted to paint the house. He wanted to put up some new walls on the shed that he had up in the backyard. And just a bunch of put some new posts out front of the house." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. You know, I'd do it." Give him a price on it. He's like, "Okay, I was supposed to start it on Monday this week." And I messaged him, I think Saturday. It's like, "Hey man, I just want to make sure we're still good to go to start on Monday." And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, I already had somebody else get started on it 2 weeks ago. I'm just gonna let him finish the job." Dude, what? Like I already scheduled
Jesus.
this week to be over there, you know? And yeah, so it's kind of a slow week. And granted, now I have this job to go and pick back up tomorrow. So
Man,
you know,
That's good though.
it's
Good.
kind of been a whirlwind.
get scheduling deposits, man.
So that guy, I did not have any like. Usually, like what I'll do is like once I like coordinate something with somebody and confirm it, then I'll send them a contract, and I have what I call like a statement of work, and it's kind of just like bullet points. So it's just like this is the process of like what we're going to be doing for your space.
Right.
So like we'll start by demo, and then from demo we'll put the uncoupling membrane down, and it's kind of like bullet points of every step. That way it kind of lets them know like
Yeah.
they can go and peek in the room and say, "Oh, well, he's got the stuff down on the floor,
Project
so he must
schedule.
be here." Yeah.
Make sure everything's going down like it should.
Well, and it also kind of helps cushion the blow so they don't just naturally see labor for bathroom, you know, your price right here. So they're like, "Oh God, that's expensive." It's like, well, this is everything that is in that, you know, and actually, like I say, coming out and selling the project and doing all that and getting materials and making a list, all that you got to get paid for. So it's all your time. So you got to factor that in.
But yeah, usually I'll have them pay a $300 retainer when they sign the contract, and that is basically just to lock your place in the schedule. Once they do the retainer, I require them to pay. It depends on the job, really, but the deposits change anywhere. Like if it's a backsplash or something, usually it's a 50% deposit because I'm gonna be done in like 2 days. But if it's a bigger project, I break it down. I think minimum I usually do like 25% down, and that has to be in my bank at least a week before I start the project. That way I have enough time to be able to get everything ready to go.
If they're going to furnish all the materials, everything, and all I got to furnish is the labor, for me personally, I'll do a quarter, and then I like to get it all at the end, so it gives me something to get started, and then a big lump at the end. But if I'm going in, I'm also getting like all the materials, maybe not the tile, but naturally the thin sets, the prep boards, all the materials like that. Plus, it gives me a little bit of labor left too, and depending on what I'm doing, it might also pay a trade like a plumbing and stuff like that. So that's when I take half. And I had one lady that was like, "I don't feel comfortable paying half," and her bathroom was tiny. It was like it was a 3x3, you know, back walls, side walls, and then 15 square foot floor. So I mean, it didn't cost much naturally because I go off of square footage. So when all materials were out and I asked for half, it was really just to pay. When I did the math, it was like, okay, that's going to leave me with like $500 or something until the end. Like that's going to pay the plumber to do like all the work he's got to do, and then that's going to pay for like the whole new weed system and everything else, you know. And it's I broke that down for her, and she's like, yeah, I still just don't feel comfortable paying that. And I'm like, I get it. I said, you're not forced to go with me, but to go with me, that's my requirements. It's not me gonna pull a fast one. And it's me. It's to operate. I need this, and otherwise, it's not. It's not gonna work for both of us.
Yeah, so. Larger projects, I'll do like a progress payment. So like I'll have it broken down, like whenever a certain amount of tile is complete, or whenever the tile is done, like you pay a percentage then, and then whenever it's grouted and silicone, you pay the final payment, or like I have it broken down sometimes for larger projects. But I also have in my contracts too, like if they sign a contract and schedule everything to start with me, if they back out of it, they have to pay whatever they've paid already. They don't get it back. But they also have to pay a 10% of whatever the total cost of the project is to kind of alleviate the scheduling issue of you backing out and now my schedule is open. So you have to pay a 10% of whatever the total cost of the project is.
Well, and not to mention if you've taken, like for me, I'll take it when they sign it, I get the deposit check, and it's just, I don't know. I can totally agree with that, because if you're buying materials already or you got a schedule to be delivered at a certain time, well, now you got to go and refund it all. It's just, that's a pain in the ass. So your time's money, man.
How long do your projects, it seems like you get involved in these big tile projects where you're doing a lot of stuff in the house. How long would you say most of your projects last? Like a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
I would say probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
On average, I would say 2 weeks. Like that big bathroom that I did earlier this year, like that took me probably like a month and a half. But I had so many setbacks with that contractor and that project.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was days that I couldn't even go over there and work because I had no access to do anything over there, So that's one of the things. Like I just told this person I was supposed to start their bathroom next week. She was like, "Well, how long is it going to take?" She wants to pretty much. The floors, we're not doing the floor. She's got LVP in the bathroom. She doesn't want to get rid of it. She wants to keep it there. But it's a pretty nice size. It's on Isle of Palms. It's literally overlooks the ocean. It's down on the beach. It's a really cool place. It's not a giant bathroom, but it's got a tub surround. And she wants to add some shelves into the knee wall that's on the opposite side of the tub and all these different things. And she's like, "Well, how long is it going to take you to do everything?" And I was like, "Well, to be quite honest with you, I was like, probably looking at least a month." I was like, and that's just me being, it's like, I don't know what we're going to get into once we start demoing and doing all these different things. I don't know if we're going to have setbacks on stuff. It's like, so I told her a month, and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." I probably could get it done sooner, but.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say probably about 2 weeks or so, but it's been slow, but things seem like they've been kicking up here recently too, so.
Good.
And I do online schooling too. So like, that's been my evenings kind of doing online schoolwork for business. So.
Sick. There you go.
So, I know I don't necessarily need a degree, but not the military, but the VA pays me to go to school, and they paid for my school. So I could take advantage of the last little bit of it that I have left. So
might as well, yeah.
You earned it.
Yeah,
well, that's awesome.
I actually just got awarded my VA disability compensation too after 11 years. Finally got it, so that'll be a nice little check of income coming in too. So
congratulations.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Now I get to go get me a handicap sticker.
Hell yeah, dude.
First class parking, brother.
As if I need it. I don't really need it because always the veteran parking at places is always right in the front anyway. So
it is, especially Lowe's and Home Depot.
Yeah. But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Cool deal, man. This has been fun with you guys, dude. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks
we'll
for coming.
It's been awesome.
Sure.
Well, keep kicking ass. Can't wait to see your content coming forward, man. Keep doing it.
Oh yeah,
it's
we'll start picking it back up here again.
I got to relaunch myself too, because I took like at least a solid 3 weeks almost off, and I'm like, all right. I just got swamped.
You was just recently on some vacation.
What?
Wasn't you just recently on like vacation?
No, I wish.
It looked like you've been traveling around or something recently.
Dude, he's
no,
always
for
in and out of town.
me. No, I've just been working my ass off. Thank God, lots of estimates, but until they sign, nothing's there. But it's been busy the last few weeks.
Has it started getting colder out there in Colorado yet?
I wish. It's been hot as
Yeah, I
hell, dude.
wish.
It got pretty nice, and then like gets up to like 98 again. It's just like, damn it, dude. This feels like 100-degree weather over in Texas where I grew up, and it's not
Is it
humid,
dry?
thank God. Oh, it's a dry heat,
Dry?
and it just
Oh, God.
sucks, dude. I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
you just get fried like an egg. It's like at least if it's all moisture, I can get all sweaty, and it's just like, at least my body's telling me you're getting hot. Here, everything's evaporating, so you just start getting like dehydrated before you know it. You're like, shit.
Yeah.
Shoot, I know Kyle could probably relate. I know here in the morning times, man, if that sun is up and beaming, dude, you go outside, you start sweating almost immediately.
Dude,
the humidity is so bad.
Moist here.
Yeah.
See,
My God.
that's
It is moist.
where I grew up, man. No, it's completely
My kids
different
get
over here.
outside. When we go to take the kids to school in the morning, they're like, "Why is the grass all wet?" I'm like, "It's because it's so damn humid outside."
Yeah. The grass is sweating.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So am I. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's gross. You gotta like bring an extra shirt if you gotta go do an estimate after work. You better have a change of clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I got the whole get up, everything changes. I'm like, no, I'm not. I think I had one time I showed up with like thin set and everything on because it was just like, all right, well, I'm in between projects. And yeah, I did actually. That was for that backsplash I'm going to do soon. And he was like, hey, you're in between your two jobs. You're coming out here to the other job that I was working on. And just, I happened to pass by her house when she wanted to. So I was like, why not? Let me go take a look. But I'm not going to be pretty like I usually am, giving that good first impression. This one's like, all right, this guy's definitely cutting tile.
It doesn't happen very often, but there's definitely been a handful of times where I've left from a job site to go and do an estimate for somebody, dirty as all get out. Be like, hey, I apologize. I just left from a job. I didn't have time to go home. But, and sometimes they understand it. They don't give you no weird looks or anything. So.
Dude, I do that all the time. I don't say shit. I don't give a fuck.
I would much rather.
What I'm gonna look like leaving your house every day.
Yeah. I was say I'd much rather hire the guy that you can guarantee is doing something over here with his, with his clothes that show it. Otherwise, versus something that sometimes you get, too nice of a shirt and stuff, and it's just like, does this guy actually lay tile, or is he just gonna take my money? So it's you got to be that there's a fine line right there.
I try to stay as clean, as organized as possible, but it doesn't. No matter what, every time I leave from a job, I have thin set everywhere.
Oh, dude!
They're like, how the heck did I get it on the back of my ear?
Actually, I did that today because my earbuds, I'll put them back in and out. So I had it right on the outside. I'm like, God damn it, dude. But too good, man.
Clean, but sometimes you just can't help it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta live in it.
Piece of dirty.
Like to get in touch with my work.
Yeah.
Too good. Well, thank you for your service, brother, and thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Can't wait till the next time we get to cross paths, and we'll definitely have you back on here. If not by the end of the year, definitely next year. All right, brother?
For sure. Thank you, guys.
All right, Donnie.
Of course, man.
Have a good night, bro.
You too. Later, man.
Peace, homie.